Hello, I'm Eagle Gardens 1 on Instagram, and this is fucking talking shit with Eagle, episode 383. Hopefully, you guys have had an amazing Tuesday. I am very much looking forward to the guest in front of me tonight. We've, of course, seen him around the chats many nights. We've got to talk to him one other time on a special episode, but tonight it's just me and him. Wally Wookie, how you doing tonight? You want to tell us how you're doing and, of course, where we can find you on social media?
Morning, Eagle. Willie Wokie here. Much love and grows love from South Africa. I'm all my life a Cape Town resident and loving living in our beautiful country over here. Big shout out to all the people in chat that I've gotten to know in the last year or so. And Willie Wookie on IG, nothing on YouTube, anything. Just somebody looking to take nice pictures of bud and insects and shit and general nature stuff.
Well, thank you for taking the time to come all the way from Africa. I mean, that's quite the time difference. I mean, you say morning. I mean, it's morning. What time is it there?
It's a happy 5:37.
Thank you for getting up and hanging out. That is early.
Oh, no, that's only a pleasure. I had the pleasure of having a morning for 20 for a change.
There you go. Love the optimism. I love the optimism.
So yeah, let me quickly just make sure I've got everything open so that I can actually see chat as well. Sorry for the dead air. Let me quickly while I'm
up and hanging out. That is early.
Oh, no, that's only a pleasure. I had the pleasure of having a. Ooh, let me mute that shit. There we go. Sorry about that, all. Pop out chat, and for all of those out there in chat as well, how's it? And remember to change the top chat to live chat. All right, and
good advice.
Any of you guys, I'll be keeping an eye on chat. Just how's it, Johnny Caniseed? And if you guys have any questions for me for anything out of South Africa or Africa, I'll be more than happy to answer any questions that I can. Just tag me and I'll keep an eye on chat.
Before we get going there, what do you have? Do you have anything prepared to smoke on throughout the
Ooh,
evening or the morning?
yeah. I've got some of my own Dr. Green Thumb's M-Dog. I've got some Skywalker OG and some Critical Cheese and some bits and bobs I've been harvesting quite a bit, or little bits and bobs I did. I think many people can attest to when you're growing for the first or the second or third time and you get an opportunity to pop a fuck ton of beans, then then you do. Variety is the spice of life, as they say. Ooh,
agree with that.
Actually, I'm going to start with some Girl Scout cookies. There we go. Being one of the topics that I'll touch on later again is Willie Wookie is, as I like to colloquially say, smell blind. I had a bit of an accident where I fell on my head about 20 odd years ago. And either due to the swelling in my brain or there's a little membrane between your nose and your brain over here, I've lost my sense of smelling or smell. Still taste like a motherfucker, but just no smell. So one of the big aims for me personally is to find a strain that tastes well, because old Wookie over here have been mostly exposed to what we like to call outdoor chronic, which is basically just your cheap, I suppose, what you would call brickweed. So I'm really enjoying, as you know, when you grow yourself, the quality usually changes quite a bit to the better. So I'm loving the taste, the sweet taste that I'm getting. And on the flip side, on the Gorilla Glue that I've been smoking some of the 5-week trim and that type of stuff. Everything that you take off. Can't wait to sample, and I'm surprised to get some of the chocolate and the gassy flavors from the OG already, or the Gorilla Glue as they call it. So yeah, that's a bit of a flavor chase at this stage. And on the topic,
nothing wrong with that.
With the flavor chase in mind, I resuscitated an old bong of mine. So for what it's worth, shout out Shane. It's living again. My buddy that gave me a bottle. It's a craft brewing bottle from one of our breweries that we've got down here in Cape Town, Newlands. Sorry, not the Newlands Brewery. That's where the big fucking beers gets made. It's used from the water from the Newlands Spring that runs down the little small spring that runs down Cape Town. And yeah, that she's been out of commission for a year or two. But the reason why I bring it up is I get a lot more flavor from flower when I smoke it through the bong, and it obviously makes sense. You're not burning any paper or anything. So yeah, I'm really enjoying the bong smoking for a change. And I must say she does kick a little bit stronger than when you're smoking a joint.
It does. I can't. I often wonder what it is about devices like that, because I've got a similar like bottle, but I use mine for mine holds a joint. I drilled a hole in it, and I passed a few of them out as like bottles, And I actually think there's something in the temperature. I believe the way it maybe cools down for a few seconds or something like that before it hits your lungs is part of that equation.
And it might also be with the cooling down of the smoke, you can, I suppose, take a bit of a bigger hit. It's not so harsh on the throat or the lungs. So instead of having I'd suppose to equate it to having a meal, instead of having a meal over a course of an half an hour, you're having the whole meal in about 10 seconds.
Yeah, that's, well, I guess that would lead us into a good transition to where we usually start this thing off.
Yeah.
Because none of us really knew how to roll back in the day. And that actually kind of reminds me of like a device that we would have probably started off with back in the day.
The good old roller machine.
So, well, when was your first experience, and what was it like? You want to share a little bit?
Yeah. First experience was, geez, talk about being thrown into, or throwing yourself into the deep end. I think it's just after school, maybe our matric year or a final year of high school. And keep in mind, old Wokie was quite the good child, shall we say. Not not quite as not good as he is right now. But that being said, went to a braai or a barbecue, as you guys call it, with friends one night, and I suppose one of the favorite drinking games of many young folk across the world is coinage, where of course you bounce the coin into the jar or the glass, and yeah, that night we decided to play coinage, and it was my turn to get nailed. So yeah, with a mixture of beer and spirits and wine and everything that goes into the naughty glass, as we say. When you miss, you've got a drink and all the rules that goes along. So to make a long story short, that night another friend rocked up, and hey, lo and behold, he had some weed, and I said, "Fuck it, let's go and have a smoke." So he didn't have anything to roll out of, so he took glossy magazine paper yeah, to roll the joint with. Big old fat fucker. Coughed my lungs out, obviously. And yeah, then proceeded to with a copious amount of alcohol in the mixture thereof. Yeah, that ended as everybody in chat can imagine. That was not a good greenies evening. So yeah, after that, it was a few years, and I think, oh, let me think, it was probably about 4 years after that. I 3 or 4, but be that as it may, um, thought, fuck, let's give this a try again. Apart from how it made me feel like there must have been something in there, but regardless, so yeah, I got a hold of a friend at, geez, I think it was way back then. We usually got most of the indigenous stuff that we got was either Transkei, which obviously comes from one of our local countries that we have here called Transkei, and the other one was Swazi, short for Swaziland. And I either got some Swazi or some Transkei, and me and my girlfriend at that stage and her brother, we had a good time. And I suppose at that moment I fell in love with weed. It's my favorite poison.
It is definitely a wonder plant. That's for sure. That's for sure.
To maybe just to pick
So
that as well a little bit, I'm a big supporter of application specific weed, and that's something that I really want to teach my friends in South Africa as well, or the ones I have at least. I think there's a lot of a mentality of let's just get the strongest weed and get as fucked as possible, um, which I condone obviously at certain stages and to each their own. But I'd like to, especially if I grow weed for friends and they're not too experienced, I always ask them, well, what do you want from the weed? Do you want to get up and have to clean the house because you can't sit still? Or do you want to chill the fuck out because you've had a shit day at work? If you're going to smoke a strongly, shall we say, colloquially speaking, sativa strain, that's not going to fucking help you if you've had a cuck day, or shit day, sorry. Um, so yeah, and I suppose with so many people down over here, still stuck on the brickweed and the foul flavors, it's it makes my heart warm when I take some weed to a barbecue or a small gathering, and the guy said, "Jesus fuck, I can smell the cookies or taste the cookies and the whatever." Um, so yeah, that's I just don't want people to think of weed as just weed. I want them to use it as a tool because, man, there's so many benefits. And to hop on another topic, the entourage effect. That when you start mixing it with the CBD and that type of stuff, it's fine to have THC extract, but when you start using it for medicinal reasons, I think, damn, when you mix all the stuff together, all the cannabinoids and stuff gets together, they just make the magic happen even better.
I totally agree. I totally agree, and that's, I guess, without. Uh, I saved. I'm trying to save this. I'm trying to save this till when we get into it, but I guess it's hard. It's hard with knowing well, we've kind of jumped ahead and a little bit back. So, but you speak of the entourage effect. It's hard to wonder with again with you spoke of the injury, and I don't want to try to jump ahead, but
Oh,
do
by all
you
means.
still get the entourage effect? Like say with the terpene profiles, even though you can't acknowledge the exact terp profile and everything, do you notice the same effect even though you're not acknowledging the smells?
Eagle, it's awesome that you thought of that question, because I've wondered about it quite a bit as well. I've yet to reach out to, shall we say, some more educated brain people, but from what I've gathered is the the body still gets the effect from, or the chemical effect from, the terpene. But shall we say, the same way that when you walk into a room and you smell a hint of lavender, you might be calmed, or if you have a hint of chamomile or whatever, you'll have that calming trigger. Because I don't have the smell popping up in the brain, I think I just don't get the, shall we say, the psychological benefit of it. But I hope that the chemical itself, the cannabinoids and the terpenes and all of those goodies that that enter the body, I hope that they at least do their work, which I kind of do. Um, I'm quite a healthy boy for not eating always as healthy as I should. So I kind of feel that the weed kind of keeps me healthy as well.
I have to agree on that. I have to agree. I think it's the whole American one thing there that it's keeping us young at some point, that we're not even picking it up on yet scientifically. I do believe it kind of slows down the aging process at some level. I don't know why, but I really do believe he's on to something when he says it.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I think of it kind of in like having lots of columns of beneficiary columns. Let's say you've got smoking weed, and that gives you, let's say for argument's sake, a hypothetical 5% bump in health. Then you eat healthy. That gives you 10% bump in health. Then you cut out some other bad habits, blah, blah, blah. That gives you a bump in health. So if you add up all the little bumps in health, that leads you to hopefully better health. And I must say, I don't know if it's because I haven't been married yet or have kids, but most of my friends say I look a lot younger than them. But I'll blame the weed.
I don't know if I'll blame it or give it credit. Anything I can do
Yeah,
to help keep the light shined on it. Yeah.
yeah, I'll definitely change the phrasing on that one.
So it
Oh,
surprises me to hear you reference brickweed there. Still, please.
sorry, Eagle, just finish the last bit over there.
I must have clicked it somehow. I heard you refer to, the brickweed. Please tell me that's just a reference in quality and not something that's still being passed around.
You know what? There's still a lot of that shit going around. It's not so much the compressed bricks like you've got, but there's there's a lot of people that cultivate huge fields, and uh, sure, the weed is cheap for the every guy in the street that wants to just get high of weed or whatever. But man, it's so full of seeds, and it tastes rank, and it's not a pleasant smoking experience. But yeah, that's there's still a lot of shall we say, mm, not the best growers what we've got out in the bundus, as we call, out of the main circles of production, shall we say. But yeah, I think that's going to be a massive change. With us going legal or being decriminalized currently, it's I've seen a massive, massive, massive shift in the short time in, shall we say, the free market. Got a friend or two that also that I've been acquainted with the last few years that's in the market, and they've said the market's gone down. It's tough. Most of the guys are growing at home, or if they're not growing themselves, they've got friends that's growing. So yeah, it's a I think it's a positive thing on the one side, because the more people grow their own shit. I think sometimes you can say that there's as much therapy in growing the plant successfully as smoking and enjoying the product at the end. I know this year Jesus, it's been a it's been a learning curve, a steep learning curve. Lots, everything, or most of the things that could go wrong kind of did.
It is a bit of a learning curve, but it's a fun one there. It's definitely a fun curve. It I say that all the time about the growing side of things, the cultivation side. I think the therapeutical and medical side, medical benefit side of cannabis is in the cultivation. There is so much healing power in that plant. Uh, that's some of the best medicine right there. That and again, patients that aren't growing are actually screwing themselves out of that whole medicine of itself. I've talked about this a lot too. There's something about going through that process. Usually, when you're taking some type of medication, you're in a place where you're feeling less than 100%. Either it could be mentally, physically, sometimes both. You know what I mean? And either way, at some point when you're finished with that crop and you're enjoying your cannabis, when you get to that can do, I've done this myself, it gives you that step up. I can take care of myself. I can do this. What else can I do? You know what I mean? It just betters you throughout the whole process. So you're absolutely right when you say the medical benefits are definitely in the cultivation side as well as the consumption side as well.
Oh yeah, no, I'm glad that you agree. And um, from seeing so many of you guys over there being caretakers for people, if I've got a best case scenario that I can change and adapt my life to, I would love to have a few patients over here and grow for them and fucking help heal people, um, and actually give them good medicine. Um, Trying to grow as, I don't want to say organic as possible. I'm a bit of a mix a bit of the two. Have some soil and heat it up a little bit with some either organic or some salts. But yeah, when I'm starting, because my next grow, I want to really, really get into growing some CBD strains as well, and a mix. Maybe getting a 1-to-1, getting a 2-to-1 to experiment with, because it's sad that the stigma of weed is still hanging around so much that it's. I've got old gentleman living next door, him and his wife, and he's probably in his middle 80s, and he's got terrible back pain, and we've become well acquainted, and um, I'm I'm the handyman if somebody something needs to be done in the house, or anything digitally goes wrong. So I'm the grandchild that's close by, or adopted grandchild, so to speak. Anyway, um, they know I smoke weed, and I've often through the years told them, listen, CBD is legal now. You can actually buy it in a pharmacy. It helps for pain, really, it does. no, but isn't it weed, and isn't he gonna get high, and blah 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 blah. No, 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 just try it. And I've even gone so far as to buy them one and say, just fucking put it in his coffee or something. It's not gonna do anything, but they don't. So hopefully, if I tell people, listen, I've grown it myself, and it's been grown with love and organically and blah 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 and all of that. Hopefully, um, I can change a few minds and change a few lives. That's that's I love my. I'm a bit on the ADD spectrum, so I love my. I think that's one of the reasons why I fell in love with weed. Uh, it always felt like my brain was running at about 8.5, 9,000 RPMs, and when I have a good bowl or a joint, then it just takes me nice down to a nice cruising RPM of about 3.5, with flexibility to increase. But on the healing side of things, like the last time I got online and I joined you for a bit of a dose on the mushroom side. Was happy to meet up with a lady that does healing sessions or therapeutic sessions with people. And what made me very, very happy was she's actually been in contact and working with psychologists and psychiatrists that I don't know how officially they recommend people go and see her for maybe some mushroom therapy, where they have their 4 or 5 gram heroes dose, and she works them through or helps them work through um, whatever issue they're struggling with. And um, I allegedly made my first delivery about 2 weeks ago, and it makes you feel good that your handiwork is actually assisting people in bettering their lives. And I, I'm a bit of a humanist, so I like doing good to people. Um, I like got my I got my abbreviated life motto from of maybe the one of the worst places, but the Australian comedian called Jim Jeffries, when one of his stand-up shows, he said, "You know what? Just try not to be a cunt, and if you do that every day, you'll be a pretty good person." So yeah, try at least every day not to be an idiot. Sometimes it's more difficult than others, but uh, I'm of the motto: if you mostly do good, then hopefully good will come back your way. Doesn't always work that way, but at least I sleep well at night.
It sure doesn't hurt to keep that side of the scale heavy. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. But yeah, memory associated with the mushrooms. Um, Quite a few years ago. Geez, when was it? I would suppose about 8 years ago or so. Um, Shout out to Craig, a good friend of mine. He, man, master of quite a few martial arts. That man has got some skills, but I digress. Um, Very spiritually inclined gentleman, and myself at the time as well. And I think, as most people in their 30s and late 20s, you go through a time of searching, and I suppose if you haven't done so yet, finding yourself and well, just seeing what's out there. And he met up with some shaman from South America, and obviously along came some ayahuasca. And um, over a course of about, I suppose, about a year and a half, I did 3 sessions with different guys. One of them, if memory serves, was more of a, shall we say, Roman Catholic-y Santo Daime. That was the name that they used. with the Icaros that gets chanted that you don't understand. But yeah, that was interesting, I must say. Um, Unfortunately, I've what I call colloquially a handbrake mind, struggled to let go, to let, shall we say, the medicine work with you. So in most of my sessions, I had never really had any visual hallucinations like other people's would say, um, except my last one, where as a I like figuring shit out. So, so let's rephrase that. I like to figure out how stuff works because I like to understand things. Because if I understand things, then I can tweak it to my benefit, shall we say. So with the learning how drugs or ayahuasca or anything like that affect your body, I learned that one of the easiest tools that you can use is manipulating your body temperature. If you are feeling a little bit too kooky, drop your body temperature. If you're not feeling as you would like to feel, um, put a jacket on. Or as I did, take a sleeping bag with. And got all cozy with a beanie and a sleeping bag. And yeah, the long-haired fibers on the on the carpet started waving at me, and looked like beautiful fields of corn waving, and that upset the equilibrium a little bit. And I thought, oh, let's let's close my eyes, make it go away. Big mistake. Yeah, so eventually um, waited for one of the Icaros to end because you don't interrupt mid song, just to get out of the area a little bit, maybe go to the loo. And as I exited the circle, you go up a few steps, and then you turn right into a long corridor. And I got up, tiptoeing silently past the other people, and I go up the steps. And as I turn right and I look down this hallway, it's just fucking matrix numbers running down the wall, and all the door frames were golden, as if I'm in circa 1990s Doom or something, where it's so obviously an entrance to something. Um, so yeah, that was my, I'd say, most memorable visual experience with ayahuasca. Um, the only other time was at a after party of a friend of mine's wedding. Oh my goodness. We had friends visiting from Dubai, and long story short, a lot of mushrooms showed up at the after party, and yeah, there was a lot consumed where it was so beautiful for me. There was about a 4 meter tall hedge, um, ivy-ish hedge with little pinkish reddish flowers, and the whole evening, as soon as the mushrooms started working, um, this hedge, whenever I looked at it, turned into very minimalistic Japanese art esque type of a hedge with the black outline of the leaves and these red flowers sticking out. Yeah, that was a that was a interesting, fun night. My goodness.
So I can't help but wonder. You partially answered my question there. I'm dying to try some more ayahuasca. Ayahuasca. There we go. So it's time to try. Oh, I can't help but wonder. I mean, you've explained a little bit, maybe the temperature aspect of it. Uh, but do you think the maybe the first and second time either they were like maybe a less quality of an ayahuasca, or maybe environment in general played a key? I mean, are
Oh,
those type of things, I'm sure quality of the ayahuasca's got could have something to do with it, but is, being in the right place, like you're stating, and like even the right temperature, that much key to being where you want to be in the experience?
and I'll say one of the most important variables in that equation is what's in here, the old noggin. Um, if you don't let go with your mind, like I did, uh, um, you you're not allowing the medicine to work. Um, you're supposed to. Okay, let's rewind a little bit. Way back when I did the ayahuasca, they were quite attent to say for the 2 weeks before the ceremony, try not to eat meat, trying to cut down salt as much as possible, um, do a bit of a, shall we say, detox, as they say. That helped a lot for me to keep the contents of my stomach inside. I'm very proud to say that of all the people I know, I'm pretty much the only one that hasn't vomited during a ceremony. And I, for the most part, give credit for that to cleaning my diet up before I go on ceremony. Um, but with having said that as well, um, I think setting your intention for your journey that you're going to have that evening helps a lot. It kind of primes your mind. Um, I, they say hindsight is 2020, so I'll use that a bit with my shall we say matrix experience. Um, I think that because I was already programming my mind to say, Wokie, we're gonna have a bit of a wild ride tonight. Let's go. Um, it loosened the, shall we say, the mental handbrake for me to actually experience the more interesting side of ayahuasca. And I'll have to up front also just say I didn't smoke it. I did the oral version where you have the drink with the enzyme inhibitors so that your stomach doesn't fuck up the DMT and everything. And that's a much longer and I would say gentler, almost like having comparing a dab to an edible as to smoking the crystalline form of DMT and having the oral version. But yeah, definitely, if you're not doing it recreationally and you definitely want to get some positivity out of it, I definitely recommend doing your homework before the time, keeping an eye on your diet, and most importantly, setting your intentions for what issues you want to work through during that 4 to 6 hours that you going to be in therapy.
Wow, is it that long? I didn't realize it was that long of a ride. And I know a part of it, like the throw up there, is key is keeping it in, right? The ride is as long as basically you can keep it in. And I never really thought about, like some prep time, prepping yourself before the journey there. Mentally I could see that, but I never really thought about like the steps of like detoxing the body, you know, eating, a proper diet beforehand. I never even consider it all.
Yeah, it just I think it takes the put your body in a bit of a healthier spot, and there's less antagonists in the body for the mixture of uh, foreign bits that's going into the body. But as to the time of the ceremony, it often depends on the shaman that's leading the ceremony. Um, we had, through my different sessions, there were one that we had one big dose in the beginning, and you had to make do with that. Most of the others, you had options for a second or even sometimes a third round. I suppose that helps for people that maybe couldn't have kept it down in the first round, so that you just get a little bit of a top up. But yeah, usually we started around about 9:30, 10ish in the evening, and yeah, finish round about 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the mornings.
So, no, it's what did you take away? Or I don't think you're supposed to talk about it, are you? Actually, the experience that you've taken away from that's your message. Am I correct in thinking that's what part of the journey?
Eagle, I think many people that have used DMT will attest to this, that you'll remember certain really, really vivid shit that you see. Either that or like a friend of mine, the martial arts spiritually inclined guy that met up with her. Anyway, he had quite a few battles with what he called entities from the other side, and they usually attacked him to make sure that he, shall we say, better his life. Attacking him because of the shit that he's causing. So I suppose it all comes down to the intention that you're putting out. I think we know so little about the human brain and the effects of certain chemicals on it. I mean, during the days of the ayahuasca ceremonies, we'd go away to a place, what's it called? Anyway, it doesn't matter. They've got a teepee lodge out there that you can actually sleep in teepees that they've built. I just took my tent with, but it was a whole weekend thing, which is nice to keep your frame of mind, because you can then do a ceremony on the Friday night and then on the Saturday night again. What did I want to say about this? Oh, yes. There's a different tobacco that they bring with, that they mix with something else, spelled H-A-P-E, hape, that they have basically a 90-degree little bamboo pipe, and that's hollowed out and fixed at the corner. And then when it comes time for your hape dose, the shaman will approach you and will look you in the eye and ask you for healing, fortune, or something else. What is your intention for or with the sacrament? And then he would take a little bamboo pipe and he'll put the one side in your one nostril, and he would go and shoot this ground up tobacco mixture up into your nasal passages, and then go to the other side and do it again. And Jesus Louise, if you've ever felt one with the universe and with God, I'll have another drink to that. That was
So
quite...
it's like a psychedelic snuff, basically.
Yeah, doesn't last long, about 5 or so minutes. And for the love of God, do not get your post-nasal drip onto your back of your tongue. You will vomit instantly. Jeez, that is the fucking most horrid tasting shit I've ever tasted. Oh no, that's um, but yeah, then on the other side there's stuff like San Pedro and mescaline cacti, which allegedly my friend acquired some of the cacti which he shared with me. So I've got a few of them growing in the garden. So hopefully in a year or so, they say apparently a meter makes a liter. So if I ever get to that, I'll see if I can uh, have a fun weekend.
So when you speak of your love for cannabis, there, uh, I know you kind of talked about when it started, but was it actually, basically from the start that you found that the medicinal side of it, where you found that there's just something that makes my body feel right, or was it, kind of that, just catching a buzz like, most kids, uh, young, are after at that point, you know what I mean? Or was it like you say, you just found something and it felt right,
You know
even
what?
though it came with somewhat of a buzz?
I think initially it was a lot to do with the buzz, of course. But I think without me noticing it, the calming down effect or the just the lowering of the RPM, so to speak, um, I didn't realize it maybe at first, and um, shit, it sure helps you forget about shit that you're worrying about the whole time. So, yeah, I suppose there's a lot of that as well. Um, but yeah, I suppose it probably grew grew more into the medicinal appreciation of weed. I think it started more as the buzz chasing. Um, I suppose the best way to kind of explain it is I used to be fond of drinking, um, and yeah, uh, sometimes as we all do, stay out a little bit late. But the one saving grace that I like about weed is it doesn't really matter um, how much you smoke. You can only get fucking that high. Oh, I mean, I don't do any dabs or anything like that, so that's one of the safety nets that I have. You can only get so high off a bong or a joint, or depending on strain dependent, I suppose.
I was gonna throw that mix in there. And that's what makes it fun about going out and seeing people because I believe you're right. You build up a tolerance to what you're smoking, what you have in house, what you have with you. And you're only gonna get as high as you're used to getting off that. The only variable I kind of seen to that is some kind of tolerance break, maybe. You go to work, you get that 8 hours, 8 to 10 hours, and then come back and you get somewhat of a fresh start. I found stepping out of your environment, like if you smoke all day, say at home, and you're like, man, I'm just not getting that high. Smoke, 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 smoke. Well, that's because you haven't left your environment. You haven't changed it. I found even if you alternate smoking one in the house and then one stepping outside and just fucking watching the birds or whatever. Just that and alone will kind of level it back out to you where it's working a little bit more. The only other way around that is to go out with some friends and mix up that cannabis. You know what I mean? Now you can get pretty tore up. You start passing around 5 or 6 strains or whatever. Yeah, you might smoke yourself out. But that's the thing. You're gonna safely smoke yourself out, and you have that option at any time to go, no, 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 I'm done, I'm done. You are the brakes. You can still have that judgment that no, I don't want.
and you don't feel like a train fucking hit you the next morning as well. That's one of the big benefits for me as well. I mean, as soon as you hit 40, hangovers usually lasted 2 days.
Oh man, I don't miss hangovers. Ooh, it has been a long, long time, but man, I do not miss the hangover.
Yep. And on the topic of tolerance, I can't remember who said it. I can't remember if it was on the Future Cannabis Project or over at Fumi's or wherever. When the topic of tolerance came up, the guy said, "Yeah, great. Take a break. Get your tolerance down if you want to get that awesome high again." But he said that's not kind of how he approaches things. He uses it for medicine. So he feels that the more he's tolerant to THC, the more medicine he can take and still go out in public and function as a normal contributing citizen. And I kind of like that um, way of thinking. Um, the medicine obviously works for me very well. So if I can get my tolerance levels up so that I can get eventually more CBD into my body, because that's, I want to see, maybe speaking out of ignorance, let's ask you that has had a bit more exposure, or let me ask it this way. CBD and THC strains, let's say a 1-to-1 or a 2-to-1. My idea is to have that as a, shall we say, the daily smoke, or day smoke, but or your, shall we say, your daily driver. And then in the evenings, you have your different flavors. Is that something that is feasible? Or I'm thinking, are you going to chase the THC high and then maybe smoke even more, which is not even a bad thing? Is that a good way of thinking, or is there holes in that train of thought?
No. I think that's feasible. Something that wouldn't be a bad idea. Well, you'd get the habit if you call it a habit, which I don't think it's a habit. You'd get the relief of going through, hey, I want to smoke one or whatever. So you calm that, but yet you'd get the medical benefits of the CBD, with just a touch of THC there. The two hopefully being on the CBD side, the one hopefully being the THC. And then, I honestly believe that CBD needs to be partnered some some type of way with THC to keep it into the system a little bit longer, and it aids with a little bit more with pain. I think CBD will take you so far, but I think that little subtle dose of some THC in with it is very beneficial, and for that to get you through the day, the joints loose, moving without the aches and pains. I see that to be very beneficial. And then it, like, kind of, as we talked about, keeps that tolerance somewhat in check. You've lowered the dose, so when you get off of work, you can still have a better, thicker dose of your medicine. That after work beer or whatever you want to call it. You know what I mean? It's that relaxation then as well. So I don't think that I can't see any flaws in it. Any flaws in it, to be honest.
Fantastic. And one thing that I'm a curious boy. As I said in the beginning, I like to figure out how things work so I can get the best out of it. I suppose it comes from the gamer of me. I always fuck myself with not playing the game, but trying to figure out what the developers wanted you to do, and then I figure it out, and then I lose interest in the game because I've not finished it, but I've solved the equation in my mind. But with that digression, I with the application specificness of weed that I try to teach people as well, I came across a awesome little PDF file called "The Therapeutic Properties of Terpenoids and Their Associated Fragrance," where they list all the alpha pinene and the beta carotene and all of that, and they then say whether it's antifungal or anti-inflammatory or antiseptic or bronchodilator or antidepressant. That is, I think, essential in any grower or any user's medical user toolkit. And then the other thing that I really hope that takes off over here in South Africa is the ability to have your homegrown weed tested for terpene profiles. That's not going to cost you an arm and a leg, so that if you want to maybe you find that myrcene works very well for your pain, or it's effective in treating your cancer symptoms, then obviously you would like to get a strain that has a fuck ton of myrcene in it, amongst other things. Yeah, sorry, that just popped into my mind when I saw the shortcut on my desktop. Yeah, this one's going to get printed out and hung up and framed as well.
So, I just wanted to point out something that kind of confirms what we had talked about earlier. I kind of should have thrown it in then, but I was reading, or I always say that it's such a shitty term because I'm not actually reading the auto books, the Audible. I love Audible.
Same.
Multi reasons. Me and my daughter go back and forth with this because she loves books too. But she actually, I give her credit, she's actually a reader. I'm like, man, honey, I wish I had time to just sit down and read, but I don't. I kind of need to listen. So it's not, you know what I mean? It's a time thing. But,
and I fall asleep after 2 pages.
Yeah, it's difficult on my eyes too. But I was listening to some books on organic gardening, and one of them, I forget the title of it. It was a 5-book set. Good deal on Audible. It was like the price of one. It was 5 really good books. It went from all aspects of organics. But in one of them, they said in 1974, they knew then the therapeutical value of horticulture. Yeah, and they tried to approach the United States government and kind of use it for returning veterans and a lot of what was it? Giving up alcohol, shit like that. Use it to take their mind off a lot of things, and it was just kind of disregarded, back then by them. And which I find mind blowing after like talking as we do. There's so many benefits to growing that I can't believe that the kind of knowledge back then basically was set back or swept under the rug, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, there was we lost a lot of time researching the benefits of weed with in the last 50 years with prohibition, which luckily now the floodgates are opening. So yeah, hopefully THC first and CBD, and then psilocybin and the rest of the beneficial stuff. I like to stay on the natural side of things. So weed and mushrooms are pretty much where I'm gonna find my comfort zone. Yeah, but then the next step in my evolution of smoking, I believe, is to get away from burning the plant, to get rid of the carcinogenic side of the smoking side of things. So eventually, I hope to get the good old rosin press. Start off with a ash bubble bags, and then go over to the rosin press. Because my, have I enjoyed harvesting my ladies with gloves on. After a good bit of trimming, there's a reward for being in trim jail. When you throw that puppy into the fridge for a minute or two, and then get that little bit of trim hash or glove hash off. Oh, what a pleasure.
Oh, I gotta agree with you. I agree with you. Except, yeah, I do wear gloves, but I don't tend to necessarily uh, use the glove or the finger hash because I don't tend to touch my buds a whole lot. You know, I do wet trim, and I tend to
Ah,
just hold the stick as much as possible, and kind of spin the butt as. That's another thing too. Save your scissor hand. Twist that butt up and down and twist that thing.
yeah.
Don't try to chase it. You know.
And
But with that being said, though, that scissor hash, I scrape that scissor hash as soon as I can see it building up on the blades. I sit right here with the razor blade and
yep.
like a shot glass. As soon as I see it build up that grease, I'm like scrape, 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 scrape. And that right there to me is the caviar of cannabis right there. That fresh trichome sauce smashed up into some new, it's basically charas, basically at that point, some live charas. And it is good. Good. That's my favorite right there, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, it's my trim jail reward. But quick, just on the maybe a bit of a comedic horror story. A friend of mine uh, had the opportunity to go a bit out of town, go more into the rural side of things, and outside one of our smaller towns, um, he got onto a small holding where guy was for the last 15 years have been growing some weed, but he got away with it by telling the authorities that he's growing it for basically for feeding for the sheep that he's got on his small holding. And I suppose he was nice enough to the cops or whatever, or be that as it may, they didn't really bother him after that. But okay, so he took my friend took a few plants with to go and grow there. But lo and behold, when he got there, he found out that this guy's standard operating procedure for the last 15 years was fucking atrocious and shocking. It's basically not no-till, just not giving a fuck. Taking regular seeds, chucking it all through the garden, growing them through winter, doing the winter flower season, then growing out again, re-vegging naturally, and then growing. And it was heartbreaking when I visited the Eagle. You see these 9-10 feet huge fucking plants, and from a distance they look so beautiful and green, and you think, oh my fuck, this is going to be epic when this reaches the end of harvest. And then you start walking through the bushes, and no effort has been taken to do any training whatsoever. There's been no trimming or pruning or anything, and there's not a lot of attention was paid to any males that came out as well. So any bud that got on there was either fluffy or full of seed. And I actually felt depressed for about an hour or two because I thought, fuck, man, there's 50, 60 plants over here that this guy's gotten. There's some of them, 20, 30 of them were of that size. And I thought, what a damn loss. This could have been amazing. But yeah, that's um, he still sells it. He sells it for, shall we say, pennies on the pound. But um, shit, it was heartbreaking to see those beautiful big plants from a distance, and then when you get up close, oh fuck, no effort has been put in. But anyway, okay, let's get back onto more happy happy topics. What else have I got written
Well,
down here? So you
that
wanted to
would
say?
have been that would have been something, but hopefully some lessons were learned. Make sure. Did you try to resist the urge and to be a good cannabis farmer and wanting to just dive right in and go, okay, we can start fixing something. Just start trimming. Give me a garbage can and some scissors. We'll clean up all these lowers.
You know what? I was very willing to assist even months prior to me seeing that. The problem is, um, some people think they're doing it as best as it can be done, and no matter what you tell them, um, they're gonna stick to what they know. And that was the situation over there, and I said, okay, well, I'm not gonna uh, impose my unwanted help on somebody that's not gonna appreciate it. But I think his opinion has changed ever so slightly. My friend uh, separated his few plants by about, let's say, let's do the conversion quickly, 200 meters, about 600 feet. Um, so he got a little bit of seeds in his plants, not too much, but yeah, he clocked quite a few miles over the months of growing over there, and he got some really fucking solid buds over there. And the one thing that I'm really looking forward to is some old school Malawi gold that he got some regular seeds, and man, uh, she's she's filling up nicely. I haven't had some Malawi gold in decades, so yeah, I can't wait till he harvests that one.
That brings me to a good question. What strains would be native to you and your surroundings? What would some examples of cannabis we know that would you guys would hail? Hey, that's from here.
Yeah,
That's our shit.
the one that I suppose, most proud of would be Durban Poison. That's one of the few naturally pure sativa land races. And I suppose it's not even indigenous to us. It probably came from somewhere in uh, Afghani mountains or somewhere over there. But fuck, she landed up here and liked it. And I must say, for a morning smoke or a day smoke, some Durban Poison, and I've got some sour diesel, which is Durban Poison mixed with sour diesel, um, which I've got a few plants getting ready to be harvested, and my friend already harvested his. Um, and they're hanging and curing at the moment. So I can't wait to try them. I'm a big sativa dominant fan, um, enjoying day smoking so much, I suppose.
I like the Durban poison myself. I don't know too many people that don't, to be honest. Like the Durban. I like the sativas, man. I just don't like the flower time. But as I'm, getting a little bit older and a little bit more patient, I'm thinking about at least squaring away at least one space for some long-term sativa.
Yeah, the um, if you appreciate the benefit of sativas, then that extra few weeks of flowering definitely pays dividends. Um, One of the things that I like to tweak, shall we say, the genetics with as well is obviously your time of harvest. You do sacrifice obviously a little bit on the potency, but yeah, if you any strain, I believe that if you harvest them a little bit earlier than they're supposed to, you're going to get more of the sativa-esque vibe of the plant. And obviously, if the tracks go amber, you can get your blankie and go to the couch and have a nice evening on the couch with those with that strain.
I definitely agree with what you're saying. Definitely agree with what you're saying. The racier side of the buzz you can find on the clear to cloudy side of the harvest there. But for me, I that's way too early for anything I'm looking for
Oh
in my
yes.
garden. To be honest with you, I like the things to kind of naturally fade out of the plant there, go full term. I like to see pretty much everything turn red on the plant. That final week of swell that a lot of people don't even know about or
Yes.
appreciate. So
I've uh,
it,
I've like I said, I've had quite a few issues this year, both over here and at the other grow. Um, and unfortunately, some plants had to be harvested earlier than they needed to. And I'm so happy that the Gorilla Glue and the critical cheese that I've got here, I've been able to run full term, and by golly, that last week. Well, I think I'm in my last week because man, she's getting frosty and she's putting on weight like a. Yo, I can't wait. And it's a full moon yesterday. I don't know if that works. I was thinking of maybe cutting it down. I was wondering if you've ever stumbled across anybody that had a bit of a maybe a scientific input on that. If there's any thing with the amount of light that it gets from the moon that triggers more terpene production or whatever, or if it's just bro science, I don't know.
I think it's more bro science than anything, but they've been harvesting by moons for ever basically. And, I've had a few say that, and it like the I've had a few say you missed it. That you know what I mean. Full moon is the time. That's the peak time. And anything after that, it's in degradation. The moon's pulled all on the trichomes and everything, fattened them up. It's fasting it and all that. I appreciate it, but I'm not harvesting by that. I mean, shoot, if I harvested like that, man, it would really fuck up my perpetual harvest. That's for sure.
I think in that case, I'm gonna the it's almost a cliche. If somebody asks you if they when they're growing outdoor, do you think it's ready? Nah, give it another week or so. And especially with it being Gorilla Glue, I think if I leave her another week or so and get some more amber trichomes on there, uh, I think she maybe just be a bit more effective at what she's supposed to be doing. Oh, which another memory that popped up. Um, Shout out to Skulky, friend of mine. Um, lots of troubles getting to sleep, and obviously takes medicine to alleviate his insomnia. And uh, about a month or so ago, I had I trimmed the Gorilla Glue tree and dried some of the little nugs, the popcorn nugs that I took off, and went over to Skulk and his wife for a visit, and left him some of the Gorilla Glue there. And I told him, listen, just keep it, cure it for a while still. It's still quite fresh, blah, 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 blah. So about 2-3 weeks later, I get a message the one morning saying, basically, he just wanted to let me know that after working late last night, he got home and realized that he never stopped at the pharmacy to pick up his sleeping medication. And he didn't have any. So he decided to just double up his nightly dose, because he's an evening smoker only for getting to sleep. So I said, okay, well, let's take out the Gorilla Glue and just double the dose. And he said for the first time in quite a few years, he slept through the whole night without any sleeping meds. And I was actually fucking quite happy. And I think that's part of the inspiration for me to maybe let this tree run an extra week or two to maybe just get that extra little bit of sleeping power, shall we say.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I really believe sometimes that, well, it doesn't seem to be so in this case, but I think your body gets chemically dependent on, medicine like that. I mean, you start taking a prescription for a long term about, helping you sleep. Well, your body's, I believe, naturally going to stop producing the chemicals that make you sleepy because you're taking over at that point. I got this, I got this. So the days that it isn't apparent, I don't think your body takes over usually naturally like that and starts going, all right, whatever. You're going to sleep. I think that at that point your body's a totally dependent on you making you go to sleep at that point.
Yep, I agree.
Cannabis doesn't seem to work like that though. I a little bit with the sleep, but it's only temporary. I find that with my experience, and I have to say, and I'm not bragging, look at this or whatever as you want. The few times I've had sleep, when I didn't have cannabis, I did have a little bit of trouble sleeping, but it was
Same.
only temporary for like a night or two. Third night it was all back on track. I don't think I became chemically dependent on wanting to go to sleep,
Yeah.
because of cannabis. But it helps, that's for sure. But I think a lot of that's just me trying to, it's my body's defense of me smoking all day. I have that. Just go to sleep.
I just want to respond to Iceni over here as well. Ask if I know what strain the African pressed bushweed is called. Not exactly sure what they mean, but if it's something like the Malawi cob or something like that, it's usually either some of the local Malawi strains that they've got, or whatever dirt weed they've got or have grown for that season. I hope that helps.
What are your outdoor seasons like? What are you guys able to pull off over there? It's got to be a pretty sweet climate for outdoor, bro.
You know what? Down in Cape Town, we've got a very Mediterranean climate. Um, Long sunny summers. So very, very, very good growing conditions. I would say up in Durban, where obviously Durban Poison comes from, it's more of a tropical vibe. they've got a lot higher humidity and temperatures over there than down here in Cape Town. But yeah, the winters aren't so cold. Never gets down to freezing down here. So this year's project for me is basically gonna be to seeing that currently we can have 4 plants per adult on at your house growing. So I want to see if I can grow 6 big motherfuckers in the space that I've got, and then have the other 2 indoors in the tent. And yeah, basically growing them through winter, doing the trimming where it's needed, and basically shaping the girls so that when after they've re-vegged, they grow into strong plants. And I've got basically 2 growing seasons to generate, or 1 to make the structure for the plant, and then it's for the summertime it's go time. But yeah, I'm going to really try and put in the work beforehand, dig up at least about 3 or so feet of the soil, make sure that it's layered correctly with the correct ingredients. I want to see if I can get coots mixed right and see how it works down in Cape Town. And because the fuck up in growing in town is there's so many vectors for plants, and your IPM has to be on par. I'm even tempted to do a bit of a PVC pipe tent, because even on my Gorilla Glue that I'm growing outdoor, I've noticed a seed here and there. So yeah, there's one of the nearby neighbors that has got a male plant. So yeah, I don't really like the seeds, as we all do usually. So yeah, most probably come next summer, there's going to be a small little greenhouse at home.
That would be pretty nice right there. That would be pretty nice. Well, I mean, be nice if you knew what kind of mail was hitting your thing. I mean, you could always pop a few here and there to see if it was worth the seeds you were getting. I mean, it can't be half bad. I mean, it can't be half bad. You know what half is. You know what I mean?
I know who the mother is.
50% chance it's pretty good. Right?
Uh,
Right?
Having not dipped my nose much into the realms of breeding yet, and that being a lover of mathematics, I haven't quite gotten down to the mathematics of breeding. But it seems that most of the genetic qualities comes from the female in humans, I suppose. I'm not sure if it's the same in the plants, but the reason why I say that is I have collected quite a few of the seeds that I've got off the girls, and I am quite keen to, just for shits and giggles, pop a bunch of them and see what happens. We all of us have got that. But what if it's the one that's going to be fucking amazing?
No doubt, no doubt. I mean, it sounds like, especially where the fuck you're at. I mean, at minimum, if I didn't want to keep them seeds for myself, which I'm sure I'd keep a, some amount, and if I didn't feel comfortable enough to pass them on to some friends free of charge, just to help them, get going or whatever, minimum,
Oh
I
yeah.
would take that walk that I'm sure all of us have somewhere in the woods and be like, Johnny Appleseed, Johnny Appleseed, pling, pling, pling.
I'm gonna get myself the silver liquid that you use to feminize your seeds. And as soon as I've got a nice girl next year, I'll definitely make some feminized seeds and go on a little bit of a love spreading walk, shall we say.
I think it'd be funny. I mean, if anything, if you did something like that, I would always act surprised when I came in the area because you never know what you walk into. But I'd be like, oh, wow. And just from there, just kind of play it out. These are awesome. Water, water, water.
And I'm like
Uh,
I'm like a little excited boy running around, having just visited a sweet shop and giving sweets to everybody. I just want to give female clones to all my friends, um, to have them grow as well. I've even thought of, so many people say, yeah, but you know what? I don't know how to grow weed. And you know what? I don't really have the time. And I thought about, you know what? Why not offer a service almost like a gardening service that once a week you come and visit, um, check out the plants, make sure that there's no severe issues or whatever, and the people just have to give them water once or twice every few days. Um, I don't know, maybe I'll have a look-see before the start of our next summer growing season, the outdoor. I'll see if I get time through the winter season, maybe to get a little small business, side business off the ground as well.
so would you, if I was an outdoor farmer there, would I be able to stagger my harvest like I do now, and pull actually be able to use the natural outdoor to grow? What is it like there? I mean, what is your day like on average, the daylight hours?
You know what? We during our summertime we get very very generous hours. I think in the summer it only gets really dark about 9:30 in the evenings. Starting to get light 4:30, 5ish in the morning. So it all just depends on how much obstructions you've got to direct sunlight. So concerning the seasons, if you've got, shall we say, maybe short flowering times, you could maybe, with some effort, get 2 harvests in, but you're going to have some manipulation to get the 12-12 premature in the first batch. But yeah, otherwise perfectly suited for growing sativas outdoor. Just got to plant them
So
early enough.
the environment would allow me to do so as far as temperature would go, but I'd have to either manipulate with supplement light, or I have to pull some tarps at
Yeah,
different stages of the year to keep things rolling.
but yeah, if, even I did a winter grow as a test 2 years ago now. Last year didn't count. And I was actually surprised, obviously, with the load amount of sunlight that comes down, it does affect the size of the plants or the growth of the plants. Um, but I was pleasantly surprised with the amount of bud on them. Wasn't nearly as I've got through the summer grow, but I have to also say that they weren't being given as many nutrients and looked after as well as my ladies have this year.
Could you do that as well? Could I actually like veg inside, like like I do now? get plants to about this size, and even in the winter months, be able to just walk them outside, and here you guys go, flower out there.
That's what I do.
That would be pretty sweet. That'd be pretty sweet.
As much as I love my
Take all the free flower,
indoor
all the
goodies
free
that I've
flower.
got, I love growing under the sun. I suppose it's, besides maybe some of the strains that have been, I suppose, bred for more indoor environments, I think the ladies express themselves very, very well when they're sun grown.
So when was your first grow outside?
Oh yeah, no, definitely. First attempt was about 10 years ago, but location wasn't right. Knowledge was lacking even more. I had a lot of light interference and re-vegging. So yeah, that was really shit, and had a little bit of issues with neighbors then as well, where that killed a whole bunch of my plants. So yeah, then I stopped growing for a few years, and then after a while, I just thought, you know what, fuck it. I've got to grow some. Whatever they've got in here can be much better than what's in here. And I've grown some bag seed that out of really shit brickweed, and that was some kick-ass fucking weed that I would say it rivaled even some indoor that I've smoked. So yeah, I suppose it's although genetics, shit in, shit out, but I think the biggest percentage of what determines the product at the end of the growth is the grower and their practices and the environment, obviously, that they do it in.
I like that attitude. I believe that's what right there makes cannabis special. That's what's going to keep cannabis craft, or that's what gives it the craft aspect to it. It's, even though it may be, like you said, not as good of straining, it can be brought to its best by some love and care, and some great garden. You're right, but you're right. It is limited to the strain, but the same that you could take those two strains side by side, put it in a large scale environment, and that shit's gonna be shit. You give it to somebody that has somewhat of a green thumb and some love there, it'd be shit, but it's gonna be a lot better than that.
The results will be chalk and cheese. And I think see that we're creeping up on 720 over here down in Cape Town. I think we can all celebrate a 420 or 20 past the hour, and then maybe we can go over to the wormhole.
Sure.
Anybody in chat, any questions for all you awesome people? And hi to everybody in chat. It's amazing to get all the knowledge that you guys share always in chat. So a heartfelt thanks for all the jokes, all the laughter, and all the information that you guys and wisdom that you guys share. I'm a bit of a lurker usually, saying hello in the start and piping up my opinion where it's where I feel I can add to the conversation, but mostly I'm just lurking in the background.
Oh man, it was a pleasure to get you on, man. I was like this close to taking some mushrooms before the episode ends. And
I'm
I
so
don't know why
I'm so glad that you didn't, because otherwise I wouldn't have been able to not to as well.
I
And
did.
I've got a shit ton to do today, and that might have impeded ever so slightly.
It can. But sometimes for the better. It's not always a bad thing. So, but
Yeah, I've
yeah, eh,
got to get the dosage right.
I'm glad to see that they're part of the regiment over there as well because they definitely make the world a lot easier. That's
Oh no, definitely, definitely, and I've got very few nice spore syringes ready over here as well, including some lion's mane. Um, I really want to get the lion's mane going as part of my daily regiment, and start making up my own capsules that I can have for daily usage, and also for more precise microdosing that I really, really want to get into on a more permanent level.
yeah. The Major General would like to know: do you live in a gated community, and what it would be the price of a zip over there? I think both are fair questions.
Yeah, not in a gated community. That would be very, very beneficial. But in a normal, in the suburbs, um, and price of a zip. What is a zip?
A zip would be an ounce of cannabis.
Ounce of
Zip.
cannabis, ounce. Let me just double check over here. Ounce to gram, 28 grams, 20, let's call it 30. 30, all right. So if you're talking indoor, it's around about 150 Rand for a gram. That roughly equates to about $10. So for an ounce, that would make it around about 300. And that's some rather A-grade indoor.
That's pretty cheap. That's pretty cheap if you're talking about, you know, high grade indoor, if in my opinion.
It,
Good. That's pretty good.
I think the South African guys have got quite a way of let's see how good we can do this. And I think with the influx of home growers, stuff's going to start. We're going to get some amazing shit as soon as there's legal dispensaries where it doesn't take too long for the red tape to clear, and you can get decently cured flour in shops available to the public. I see that Iceni asked me if I use any other nootropics. No, not on purpose. If I do, I don't know about it. Let's have a look, see if I missed anything.
No discount for a zip. I
You know,
agree. I agree. I agree. There should be. When I first started buying, actually, even when I had to buy at a provisioning center, I guess that should be proper term. I would go in there and be like, yeah, this is good, but how much for an ounce? I
you've
know this math, but this doesn't make sense for me because I know things should be cheaper on a larger scale. So, what's it take to get to the cheaper scale?
Oh yes, that you know what's that reminds me, way back when in my, shall we say, late 20s, yeah, middle to late 20s. I live a little bit outside Cape Town in one of the northern suburbs. And I usually was the guy who drove to town to go and pick up stock for everybody. And then I'll just share with the friends. And it was back then, obviously, you got what you got. And I would usually walk into this place, and it was called the African Village Market, nice 3 or 4 story building, and it had all these little stalls. Either some of them were clothing, some of them were natural roots or natural medicine, and that was obviously the shop that that I went into. And my friends usually, I went through about 2-3 years of doing this, where I suppose I could label myself a little bit of a weed snob back then, where I would get some Swazi or some Transkei for the friends, and then I'll ask the roaster, okay, this is for my friends, what have you got for me? And then they would rip out either that was my first experience with New York Diesel, and back then I was already smell blind, and when I rocked up with it at my friend's house, she said, "That shit stinks. You're not fucking smoking that shit here." So yeah, that was my exposure to first time to really good indoor. And yeah, back then even a gram used to last me a week. I would literally smoke a little bit like this in a pipe every evening, and I that was the days when I think I started my love for variety of weed, where I remember I had this little box in the back of my car, my one car seat, and I remember stopping at my regular watering hole after a hard day of work and thinking to myself, what am I in the mood for tonight? Do I just want to have a few drinks and chill? Do I want to be relaxed? Do I want to be vibey? Do I want to do some dancing tonight? What am I in the mood for? And depending on what I answer to myself, that would determine what I would be smoking, taking a 1 or 2 hitter out of the pipe before I walk in. So yeah, that was fun memories of smoking different stuff or making you feel a certain way. Application specific weed.
Did the loss of smell change the overall high for you in general?
You know what? Definitely, maybe, if I can put it that way. One of the sad things for me is I can't remember what weed smells like, and that's something that irks me quite a bit. And I can't smell what my babies smell or my girls smell like. But I think in the same way that maybe I don't get hungry when I walk past a steakhouse, I'm missing out on some of the effects of the smell of weed. But hopefully, like I said in the beginning, hopefully the chemical reactions inside, when it works inside your body, hopefully at the least that's still intact. Happy to 420, guys.
Happy 420. Cheers to you, my friend. Cheers to you.
Another thing that I just remember that I want to give you a shout out for was um, I downloaded or I liked the T42 song that I Shazammed, the dab song. Um, After hearing that a few times in the mornings when I wake up. Well, also thank you for all the guys in chat, and to you as well for being awesome company in the morning when I wake up for my wake and bake. Thank you guys. Um, but what I wanted to say was, damn it, I got myself off my. Oh, I Shazammed the song and I found it the T42, and I liked the song. And the first time that I visited the my buddies grow out there in the more in the rural parts, uh, I just put my playlist on random and shuffle, and it played. And about an hour into the journey, this song came up, and I was smiling from ear to ear. And I quickly grabbed my pipe, and I had a good fucking smoke, driving over a mountain pass, and having a good chuckle with the music blaring. That was fucking awesome. I really enjoyed that.
Oh man, thank you for that story, man. Because I don't listen to Shazam, but YouTube's funny like that with me. But I've actually been in a couple spots where I've heard it so often, and it's not foreign to me. You know what I mean? It's like, and I've actually sat at a light and went from something completely different to the dance song and just kind of sat at the light, windows down, just rocking it without even realizing I'm rocking it.
Oh, that is so true. That's definitely, and I'm just laughing at myself enjoying the song so much, and if the people outside caught even a momentary glimpse of my enjoyment of the song, I'm sure that they would just be absolutely perplexed as to why I would do it.
What kind of retro places they hanging out?
Oh, with 6 degrees of separation, it might just end up. I wonder if that motherfucker listens to Eagle.
Hopefully that's what you're thinking now when you hear that song. That'd be pretty damn cool. That would be pretty damn cool. Obviously, we reach one another pretty far. I mean, I'm talking to an amazing dude in Africa. I mean, I do think those odds are pretty good if you could relate those two. I'm just saying, we're everywhere.
Yeah, no, I think that's the one good thing of the internet. It really becomes a global village. Um, I mean, yeah, I've got the southern tip of Africa. I've got access to a wealth of knowledge in this community. Um, Not even, I mean, there's the Dude Grows and Fumi and the Boys and Future Cannabis Project, all of which I just stumbled across by opening up a new YouTube account for my weed related goodies and started searching and fuck celebrating that that I stumbled across you guys. So uh, in closing, thanks a lot for what you do and the community. Man, the um, it takes a lot of your guys' time to keep us entertained and keep us company so often. So a heartfelt thanks from my side at least, and keep up the great work. It's uh, and fuck, I've never thought I would in a million years thought I would be sitting here talking to you. So I'm fucking very chuffed about that as well.
Well, I'm honored to have you. It was a pleasure to get to meet you a few months back on one of the special episodes. It touches my heart to know that this thing is reaching people like yourself fucking way across the world. I mean, it actually, as I say it, it gives me goosebumps. So to know you're there, listening, watching every day, thank you, my friend. That's fucking amazingly. Awesome. And well, this opens you up now. I mean, you've done the work. You've been able to pop in before, but now you have free reign of popping in that wormhole on any morning you feel like getting up and having like a pre-morning wake and bake, not having to watch the replay, but actually get
Yeah.
up and hang out. You can do that anytime you see fit now. So I hope you fully, hopefully, you take me up on that offer for one. For two, I can't let you go without getting, you know what I gotta get. I gotta get
Oh
that
yeah.
sound play for it. And I am ready and recording anytime you want to give it to me, my friend. This is 383. If you want to include that in your sound bite, I would greatly appreciate it.
Awesome. I will do. Hey y'all, it's Willie Wokie over here from Cape Town, South Africa, and I'm talking shit with Eagle on episode 383.
It has been a great night, and I had no doubts it would be. And I can't thank you enough for coming on. You've done your part on, making this happen. You thank me and everybody else for help making this happen. You've done your part in making this happen, and I can't thank you enough for buying us another night. Another night, 383 of them to be exact, and counting, and counting.
And
So, thank
counting.
I thank you very much, my friend. And
Awesome.
well, I guess at your request, my friend, we'll go ahead and kill this one and open up the wormhole. Yeah,
Awesome. Awesome.
give me a few minutes. I'm gonna take advantage of the break, stretch for a second, and as soon as you see things fire up, if you don't see it in a few minutes, you come back to Zoom because you just haven't got the notification. Oh, it's going. So
100%. I'm going to make a fresh cup of coffee and give me a few minutes as well. Then I'll join you guys for a bit more.
all right. Thank you, my friend. And thank you again for this amazing episode. You guys know the deal. If you're not going to fall over into the wormhole, well, you're just silly. But if not, thank you for hanging out with this amazing episode with this amazing gentleman. But I hope you'll see us and join us again here in the wormhole in a few minutes. But if not, you guys know the deal. Please do something nice for somebody. Random acts of kindness do save lives. We'll see you in a few minutes.